Welcome to the Lokar Car Show. I'm Sam Adavi with Rusty Gordon, coming to you this week from Nomad R Us from Marion, Virginia. Welcome to the Lokar Car Show. This is gonna be one awesome car.
And I said, it doesn't even run yet. And look at it now, it's amazing.
You know, Rusty, I was at Hot Bristol Night again, and I said to myself, I want to go see Rusty. You're only 45 minutes from Bristol, here in Marion, Virginia. And I'm like, let's go get an update and see what Rusty's doing, because I love what you do here at Nomad R Us. And I already see, from one year to the next, that so much has changed, and you've added inventory to your collection.
That's correct.
What's this right here?
This is a 55 Nomad chassis, a 265 with the 2-speed power glide.
So that's the California chassis because the seat's boxed in?
Now this right here is the 2-piece chassis. See my welds in the middle?
Yes, yes, okay, got it.
This was the original power brake, power steering car with your generator, your power steering pump.
All attached in one?
Yeah.
With one little V-belt,
yeah.
huh? Back then, I had no idea.
That's the way they rolled in 55, baby.
So what about this one right here? What's going on with this? This looks like a fresh chassis ready to go into a vehicle.
Yeah, this car right here is 55 Nomad. It's going to Copenhagen, Denmark. We're doing it for a gentleman over in Denmark. The ZZ6 motor that I like with the 700R overdrive, nothing fancy, you know, just a great cruising car.
That's a turnkey deal too.
Yeah,
Comes with all the accessories and everything with a warranty.
It's a great deal, 2-year warranty, all the accessory drive and everything.
Wow, that is nice. And you did all this in-house?
Yeah.
Very nicely done. I like the symmetry in the exhaust system. Everything is nice and new, fits well. The gas tank, EFI deal, baffled, all new age stuff, so you got reliability and peace of mind.
That's right.
Man, Rusty, I see you have expanded the parking lot a lot, moved the Nomads over and gave yourself some more room for inventory.
Yeah, we're lining them up.
That's awesome. I'm checking this out and I'm thinking, what's a 53 Corvette? That's a 53 Corvette, right?
Yeah, it's a replica.
What is it? What's it doing here?
We're going to recreate the 54 Motorama car, one that they done back in 54 to promote the Nomad, and they used the Corvette front end to start with. It got changed for production in 55, but 54 they made some prototype cars. They used the front end of the 53 Corvette.
So you're going to recreate that 54?
Yeah, that's why we got this here, so we can pull a lot of measurements and, you know, just see exactly where we're at, because it's kind of hard to recreate something, you know.
You can't touch and feel.
Yeah, but if you can touch and feel it and measure it, and we're about being correct is what we're looking for.
Do it once, do it right.
Right.
You know?
Perfect.
So what do you got in store for these guys over here to the left? What do you got new?
Got several of them in. We're getting the paperwork and everything straight on them so the cars eventually can be built. Some of them are pretty rough, but we've got roofs gathered up. So if we need to put a top on one to bring it back to life, that's what's going to happen.
You know, you pretty much do all the legwork for those people who want to build something like this but don't know how to obtain the title, don't know how to get the registration, don't know the legal way of doing things. You're taking care of all that legwork for them.
Yeah, and then that way the cars actually get built. If you do it that way.
I see you got some roofs piled up over here and you got couple coated. That's for future builds.
Yeah.
Any of these roofs, the one that we cut off of the Safari last year?
Yeah, I got it here. We've got a car planned out for it already. So we've done some measures and get it ready to go, but we're going to install it on a 55 Nomad.
You're actually doing it justice for the sport.
Yeah, we are. We're bringing them back to life.
Yeah.
I mean, we're making sure they're actually getting built and back on the road.
We'll be right back with more of the Lokar Car Show. Man, that is awesome.
When we built this building, we wanted to have something to present what we do and showcase the cars that we build and we play with, because we're enthusiasts at heart, right? So the whole business started from being into street rods. My dad loved street rods, took me to street rodding events. My brother came up, we're all into cars. Everybody in this building is touching cars or playing with cars.
From great minds like being a car enthusiast is where most of your products come from.
It is. I mean, we teamed up with Goolsby and built this Camaro. We ended up making a bunch of custom parts on there, and a lot of them actually became products. That kind of stuff just comes from doing it. You know, like I said before, sitting at a desk thinking about it doesn't always work. Sometimes it can if you have a problem to solve.
Right.
But if you're just being creative with a car, it's the most fun.
It's nice to see all the parts that you make from its raw form into a matching car, painted and put together so well like this. On that. Welcome back to more from Nomad R Us. This is so cool. I want one so bad.
All right, Ruben, here we go.
Man.
This is the finished product.
Wow, so happy, man. You did the right thing. Everything is so beautiful.
Made you nice and old school under the hood here.
Yeah. That's it with the CC. Yeah. Nice and neat. Everything in line up. You see the lines over here, they're all perfect.
Yep.
Let me see how that close. Oh no. Yeah. That's the way. That's the way, Rusty. Yeah.
Yeah, and we got a good stance on the car with what we done with it. And see, when you look at one of these GM tags, see all these letters right here for the AC and the remote eye dash to dim your headlights. If you were on high and met somebody, it would automatically dim them. And they started doing it on 55 Nomads and 56 Nomads. So it's a really rare option. We done all your accessory stuff you asked for, and that was an accessory deal that you bought at the dealership.
That's the way. That's the way to go.
And gotta love the fender birds for the 56. That is tight.
Yeah, and don't forget about it. Party dash, the leather dash. That was unique back in the day.
Yeah. And like I said, I want to give a great shout out to Sedella Interiors in Tempe, Arizona, because Gina and the girls out there,
Gina,
they're the ones that done this interior kit that I installed for you.
And you could see that's the freaking great job.
I hope you enjoy it for days and days to come.
You know I'm going to be enjoying this car for the rest of my life.
Hey Rod, here's your baby. We got you ready to go.
Looks good, looks amazing.
Candy root beer, white metallic gold top. Everything's pretty much dialed in. We got some finish work to do on the car, but we should have her finished up here in a couple weeks.
Looks good, looks amazing. I love the stance too.
Yeah,
The wheels.
great stance with your aftermarket chassis, your wheel wood brakes. Made a super nice clean job under the hood. I mean, I think you'll be happy with it. And I got your hood dialed in. Everybody talks about their mic drop. I got my own here. It's called the hood drop. All your line.
So I was a little concerned about the seats. You know, you can see pictures of it.
Right.
Until you see the real thing, but that looks really good.
And we done the seats too, where we used bucket seats in it. What we done is I had my girls at Sedella Interiors. They done the waffle trim like that was on the 55 Nomads only for your inserts. Original back seat, all that stuff. I mean, it really come together great. I used all your chrome molding around the bottom of the windows in the car and stuff, so it really makes it pop. And it's other than the console and the seats, everything else is, you know, pretty much like it rolled out of the factory the way they done them. So I like doing it that way, and I like to have a customer that lets me do it my way.
Well, it sure worked out good.
All right, I'm glad you're happy. And like I say, we'll get it buttoned up and get it to Nebraska.
This thing's absolutely beautiful, Rusty. I can't believe you're going to sell it.
Yeah, it's about the love of the cars and letting somebody else enjoy it. That's what we're going to do.
Absolutely.
We'll be right back with more from Nomad R Us.
Your showcase has arrived, and now is the time for you to set it up. And it's really easy. Simply roll your showcase out, fold it right, fold it left, and get your pump ready. You're going to locate the inflation valve in the back corner. Simply hook up your pump with a simple twist lock, turn the pump on. In 3 to 5 minutes, the showcase will be fully inflated. There's really not a lot of hand-holding to do at this point. Just let the pump do the work. You may have to grab a tube and shift it over if there's a kink, but otherwise the pump will fully erect the showcase. Once it's fully upright, the pump will automatically shut off. That's a sign that we've reached full pressurization. At that point, we're going to disconnect the pump, put the valve back in, close the valve on the outside. Now you're going to walk inside and you're going to bring your extension cord through the port and the back panel, and you're going to plug in your pump. Once the pump is plugged back in, now open up the inside valve and hook up the pump. This is to ensure your showcase is always going to be at full inflation. It'll go on and off when necessary. Now your fan is all hooked up, we got continuous airflow, and you're going to change the air about 5+ times an hour. Now it's time to enjoy. We preserve and protect and present the finest vehicles in the world, and yours is.
Man, that Italian leather is really nice. I can't believe one of you guys are going to be lucky enough to own and buy this Nomad. Welcome back to more of the Lokar Car Show. This is one that you're building to show people the quality of level of work that you're capable of doing, and then you're going to sell this vehicle.
Right, right.
When do you think this vehicle will be completed for sale?
We'll have her ready in just a very few months here. It's not long. She's coming close.
This is absolutely beautiful. Now, this is your idea of what you wanted your Nomad to look like. All the trim, the color code and everything, and that's your dream. That's your idea.
Yeah, that's letting you know the way the trim, all the molding flowed through the car. It's a beautiful setup if you do it. There's a lot of custom going on, but this is like an original type setup.
What about the chassis up on it? This is it already
This
done?
is a Newman chassis out of California, a well sought after chassis. All Corvette suspension, wheel wood disc brakes all the way around. It's a nice item.
This is going to be a very nice showpiece and driver, nice car that someone can own real soon.
The LS, all that, turn the key and
Get
you're
24 miles per gallon on the highway.
Yeah.
You can't beat it, man.
I done my signature dash too, the two-tone dash.
Yeah, that looks so good. Someone's going to make a real good owner of this. It's going to be a beautiful car. When you look at the back, you look at the cables, you look at the attention to detail, man, you're really knocking out the park with the leather side straps over the wells as well instead of vinyl.
That's Italian leather in that car.
It smells so good in there.
Oh yeah, I wish they could smell it.
Someone's going to be very lucky to own that. I want to know everything. What's that in your hand and what are you going to do with it?
This right here is a template that came off the front of a 55 Nomad. Basically, it gets your profile of the rocker area, the curve of the fender, up, transitioning into the door jamb, and it'll all have to match this. So what we'll end up doing is we'll end up extending the fender down, and then we'll come off the Nomad door out of metal. We're going to use 19 gauge metal, and we fabricate this whole thing. We basically make this form that this will be the joint between the front door of the Nomad, which will then transition into the front of the 54 Corvette front end. And as you'll see, this is a whole lot taller than the Corvette front end was. Off the top of my head, 6-7 inches difference in height. So we'll have to account for that transition whenever we start fabricating it out of metal.
So it's going to look like the Corvette still, but scaled up to fit the Nomad body.
To fit the Nomad body. It will just basically extend off the front, transition from this profile into this one.
Is it just the front end you're doing, or doing the rest of it too?
We're going to do the front end, and the rear end is going to have to be fabricated too. This right here, all this shape is pretty close to the right thing. The original 54 Nomad did have the 54 Corvette taillights and stuff in it. So we'll have to do the same thing back there.
It sounds like a lot of work, but it's going to be so cool when
Oh, it's
done.
going to be a whole lot of work.
Especially the fact that you're doing it all out of metal.
Oh, yeah.
I saw the prototype at the McCacken show in 2022. I did not know it existed. I had to reference Rusty and another friend of mine who owns a Nomad as to what that was.
Yeah.
And now I'm no longer ignorant to it. And then here you go, a year later, you guys are going to copy it. That is so
after
cool.
we saw a picture of it, I was like, dude, we got to do that. Like, let's make one. And as soon as I was on board, he was like, yes.
We have to go to a quick break. We'll be right back with more of the Lokar Car Show. Like I said, Rusty, it's so cool to see an original copy. This is a fully restored one like we saw outside, right?
Right, this is what you're gonna start with when you come together with your build.
What size engine would that have been?
That's a 265 with a 2-speed power glide.
And I'm noticing, just like you saw out there, the alternator or generator, should I
Yeah.
say, and the power steering, all one unit with one V-belt.
That's right.
And this is rare to see somebody wanting to do an original deal like this.
Yeah.
Must be like a story or heirloom behind
Yeah.
it, something sentimental. And then I'm noticing the power glide here, it's got an adapter plate because the power glide was used in so many applications back in the days. So this one is ready, it's gonna have the floor put on it, and then you're gonna put a body on it. What's the color of the body that's going on there?
We're not really sure yet on what we're doing as far as the color on it. We're just getting everything squared up and ready to go, get the new floor pans in it. There's always time to make a color decision.
Now see, you got everything held on with zip ties right now, just mocking things up. That's
Yeah.
smart.
Yeah, that way it's all together, and like I say, it's a lot easier to bend down and do what's going on here than like this.
And you're able to even run and crank this and test
yeah.
everything out
Yeah,
as it
this
sits.
thing's already been running and everything, so it's ready to go.
And that'd be the original carburetor and the original air cleaner that you would have seen.
Yeah, and this was what they called a power pack, 4-barrel carburetor. Most were 2 barrels that come on
Right.
these cars, and this was a power pack. It actually gave you 15 more horsepower.
Well, let's grab a couple guys and see what it looks like to put the floor on.
'55 Nomad eyebrows and spears.
So this is the original ones, right?
When we find them, this is the way we get them, and then we send them and have them re-chromed, and it turns it into this.
It looks like a brand new item, but it's not. It's actually the original. And I see that there's a hole here, but there isn't a hole there.
The pot metal guys at the chrome shop, they fill them in before they plate them. The reason why these holes are in here, if you look at that right there, the thing come loose on the car, and what they were doing was just put a screw in it to keep it from coming
that's
loose.
right. There isn't one here.
Right, and if you'll look right here on this one, see right there, that's how they done the deal. When the clips broke off the back of it,
They put a screw right through the sheet
they
metal.
just drilled right through it and put a screw in it to hold it on the car. And thankfully they did, because they're super rare to get a hold of, and I got them.
And this is a one-year item on the car.
Yeah, 55 Nomad only.
Now, what kind of tricks are there to, if somebody wanted to take this job on themselves at home, what's the steps and process they would have to go?
The eyebrows at the front of the car, which is the eyebrow, I get a good snug fit on my eyebrow. Then I go with my fender spear, and then the door spear.
And what do you use to adhere these items with on the vehicle?
When we have them re-chromed, we have studs put in them. We use the studs, washers, that way they're not going to come off.
So you have to drill in your brand new car.
Yeah, that's the tricky part. That's what everybody doesn't want to do.
It's the scary part.
Yeah, you only get to drill a hole one time. you
Yeah,
know, and
one
you're-
time.
Yeah.
This right here, this is the trim piece, or should we say the rubber, for the top of the front windows. There's a pretty good gap up there, and this is what GM relied on to seal the window to the car. And you said this is very rare. What's your solution to that?
They've done a bunch of repops that they've done on these strip rail rubbers that went on their weather strips. Anybody that's done a Nomad they hate that. That is the hardest thing to do, to get all these parts lined up to fit this, to make the window go in the track how they had it set up. What we're doing here at Nomad R Us is we're going to basically reinvent this.
So these are becoming very hard to obtain.
Yeah, they're offline right now. Who knows when they're coming back. We're in the process of getting that done to make it, and it's going to make it a lot simpler. Go right in the factory holes that they screwed in. Everything will be perfect. When you buy it, you put it on the car, screw it to it, shut the door, and you're done.
But as far as trim goes, I'm looking around both outside and inside. You got a lot of trim.
Yeah.
Stock piled up, ready for anyone to possibly want to purchase from you and have them redone, or they can pay you to have them redone, then pick them up once they're
A
done.
lot of them we got already redone, ready to go. I use them a lot on my builds. I do sell some already restored and ready to go.
Third year I'm here out here, Rusty, and I am so impressed with what you've done with the inventory, those high-end builds you got in there. Very impressive.
Thank you. Like I say, it's a love of the business, and taking care of your customers, treating them right, and it all comes back to you.
Well, let's take a ride in your favorite Chevy.
Let's do it.
This is it, huh?
Yes.
For me, that's a wrap.